It is halftime here at the Insulaco Arena. And you see the score there, 29-25. We apologize for some of the technical issues we had in the first half.
Yes, we certainly
But we've
do.
got them pretty much all straightened out at this point.
First game of the season. We're much like the teams. We're still ironing some things out, but we're ready to go now. So.
Okay, so since we didn't get to do it prior to the game, let's take a look at who we had in the spotlight tonight. And we'll start with Marywood and Natasha Hessling, the returning senior, one of the captains of this team. Played all 28 games last year, 27 starts, 25.5 minutes per game. 54% shooter from the field, 26 of 38 from the free throw stripe, 8.9 points per game, which was third on the team. Led the team in rebounds with a touch under 8, 51 total assists, 15 blocks, 286 points away from 1,000 for her career, so that's pretty exciting. That was as of the beginning of the game. And also, she was named a captain of the squad this year. So on the other side, it's Alyssa Olsen. We'll also talk about her. She also played in 27 contests, started 18 of them, 23.5 minutes a game, 40% from the field, 61% from the free throw line, a very good three-point shooter, 15 of 31 for 48%, 7 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, and was also named a team captain this year.
Yeah, I think they'll look to those two this season, and we talked about it. They're a young group. So having leadership like that's very important when you're dealing with a young team like this group this year. You need to look to somebody who's faced the competition already, who's been in the contests, who knows what to expect from a lot of these teams, even though it's a new conference. And, and they're both, they're not just, leaders off the court, they're leaders on the court as well, as we just outlined.
Now on the other side for the Diplomats, and we will get into a little story about that later, but Haley Pallone, the 5'9" senior guard out of Milford, New Jersey, had played in 23 games last season, 22 of which she started, a touch under 32 minutes a game. She averaged, and look at this, 17 points a game, almost 18, and is one of the best three-point shooters the program has ever had, as she shoots 42% from beyond the arc, and she's second in program history in total three-pointers with 165. As for the other young lady you see there on the screen, Kristen Hamill is a 6-foot junior center out of Radnor, PA. I believe that's where Cabrini is, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, that's Ashton. Radnor, I believe, might be Newman. Something like that. I believe it is Newman. But she played in all 25 games, averaged 28 minutes a game, 45% shooter from the field, second on the team in points per game, behind only Pallone, and was also second in the conference in points per game, as Pallone did lead the conference in points. Team's leading rebounder, 9.3 per game, fourth in the conference overall, and she's a 61% free throw shooter. Now let's quickly take a quick little recap here of the first half. And what we see here is a lot of scoring by the players we mentioned just a second ago. Pallone's got 9. She's playing really well. Emily Moran has 5 for the Diplomats. Sarah Pisani has 7. Kenna Williams has not scored yet, but she's played very well in her 10 minutes thus far. And on the other side for the Pacers, Araya Onks leads the team with 7 points, followed by Hessling with 5, Olsen with 3. And that about rounds it out for the Pacers.
Well, in the first half, from what I saw, I was sitting at the desk for most of it here. Both teams got off to a slow start out of the gate. They couldn't really find the bottom of the net, forcing some shots maybe on both ends. Maybe just some opening night, home opener jitters possibly for them. But that was both teams, so that was just the flow of the game early on. Franklin and Marshall were getting themselves in some foul trouble early on also, so there was the game couldn't really develop a rhythm, and that's what happens a lot of times when you're missing, and also with the fouls, what happens is there's no rhythm. So if there's no rhythm, then neither team is going to really find their offensive footing. The midway through the second there, Franklin and Marshall they took a 6-point lead off a couple 3-pointers. It kind of felt to me like they were searching for the threes a lot in the first half. I think that was probably their preferred shot. A lot of times they're coming down the floor. It just kind of seemed like a lot of their offense was designed sort of around that kick out, and they were looking for those open looks. They got them, but then the Pacers answered back with some 3-pointers of their own. Marywood actually did bring their percentage back a little bit. They're 46% now. So, definitely not a terrible number as a team. 46%, actually, a decent number. So, 36% for the Franklin and Marshall. For the Diplomats, obviously leaves something to be desired there, but they have the lead, and that's in large part due to their 3-pointers. They're 6 of 14, so the 3 ball has been the difference so far. Shooting 43% from 3, 6 made. The rebound battle even. A lot of other things pretty much even in the game. Assists, turnovers, fairly even. And I think overall, it's just like I said, the 3-pointer has been the difference in the game right now. Both teams definitely going to be looking to find more of their footing, though, in the second half and give this game some sort of rhythm.
All right, now one thing we have failed to mention to this point is that the Pacers have a new coach.
Yeah, they do.
Coach Gabby Halko is in her debut. And let's get to know the Pittsburgh native, Gabby Halko. She was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, played 4 years at Westminster College out by Pittsburgh. And she was named the head coach in July after Coach Tara Machako resigned and moved on to Wilkes University. And we will actually be seeing her over the weekend, so that'll be a bit of a homecoming for her that the Pacers will hope to spoil. But Coach Halko, her team is only down by 4 at this point. And she came from Lackawanna last season. She was an assistant coach there, helped lead the team to a 25-5 record. Spent some time also at Allegheny College, and she got her master's degree at Misericordia, where she also spent a little bit of time as a graduate assistant at that program.
Well, I know you got a chance to talk to her this week, so
I did, yeah.
You'll be having an article up pretty soon, so that'll be good for everybody that reads the Woodward. You'll be able to read that on there. But I think with change comes new opportunity, and I think that's how Marywood has to look at it. Obviously there's lots of new faces this year, but all that means is there's a new opportunity to succeed. There's a new coaching staff. You're seeing some new players or a younger team. They're playing with some energy. She talked a lot about her game plan is energy, and her idea is to get out there and really kind of bring the game to the other team and run. And she even said, she likes the idea of being an underdog. So, you like to see that from a coach or from a team, that they embrace the idea of putting in that hard work and getting the end result even when people might not expect them to. So I think overall this season, like I said, it's just a season of opportunity. There's plenty of opportunity here, a new conference, a new coach. Everybody's going through change of their own that you're going to be playing. So I view this just like I said, a new opportunity for them. It's a new part of Marywood basketball history.
Pacers also are in a new conference this year, the Atlantic East, as they moved on from the Colonial States Athletic Conference last season. The last time we saw this women's Pacers squad, they beat Centenary in the Colonial States Athletic Conference quarterfinal right here at the Insulaco Arena. But we wanted to know, who is Franklin and Marshall? So let's take a look at who Franklin and Marshall is, as that will be coming up on the screen shortly. But a little bit of story behind it. As you see right here, they were 10-15 last season, 7-13 in their conference. They were members of the Centennial Conference since 1994. The program began in 1974. They were 11-10 that year, and they've never won a conference championship. They lost in the MAC final 5 times. They did play in the MAC before this conference that they're in now, the Centennial. But let's take a look at how the Diplomats got their name. And I looked this up the other night, and I found it kind of cool. Now, in 1935, the Franklin and Marshall football team nearly upset Fordham who was a national powerhouse at the time, and it stands as one of the biggest highlights in all of college sports. And they weren't given a chance. Just to put that into perspective, Vince Lombardi was on that team. Vince Lombardi, the reason you hear the Lombardi Trophy every year, that's that Vince Lombardi. They were 8-1 in 1934. They were considered one of the country's elite small college teams. And they nearly pulled off the upset against Fordham and their legendary 7 blocks of granite defense. And they were picked by many experts to advance to the Rose Bowl, which at that time was the only postseason game in 1935. Now, I don't know for sure, but I would assume that would probably be the national championship at that time. But they spent a few minutes. We spent a few minutes getting to know that here, and the Diplomats. Legend has it that the team named the Diplomats was born after that Fordham game. I guess simply because it was the way they played, but it was born through that game, and all that goes all the way back to 1934. And I just thought that was kind of a cool story that I found when I was getting all my info about the Franklin and Marshall team.
Definitely was, Brendan. You're doing your research. Nobody can say you're not.
Okay, so we are set to go here in the second half. Now, if you are just joining us, my name is Brendan Murphy. Sitting next to me is Nicolo Manzo, and we will be here at the Insulaco Arena calling as many games for you as we possibly can, and as many games as the Pacers have home games. Natasha Hessling makes a move inside, gives it out to Alyssa Olsen. Emily Theobald, a freshman, number 20, had that shot come off. She's out of Honesdale, Pennsylvania. But let's set the floor for you. As for the Pacers, it is Natasha Hessling and Alyssa Olsen, the tandem senior group. That is out there. Emily Theobald, the 5'10 sophomore, who is a transfer, number 20. Araya Augst, who actually changed her number from 15 to 10, the 5'8 sophomore guard. And we have Jade Rolone, the 5'4 freshman guard, number 4. On the other side for the Diplomats, it is Kenna Williams, the 6'1 freshman. Sarah Pisani is bringing the ball up as we speak. The senior guard, number 10. That passes into the corner to Sarosa Parsons. That shot comes off. Haley Pallone is also out there. And along with her is Lindsay Powers, the 5'8 senior, number 30. So a foul on the floor as we have a push off. That's going to go on Kenna Williams. Nice pass inside to Theobald. Great find that time by Natasha Hessling. That shot at the top of the key for 3 is good. The bank is open. Olsen drives, the floater goes in, gets the friendly bounce. How about that? Kick out to Parsons. She's going to drive and be fouled. That's going to go on Theobald. That'll be her second personal foul.
If she makes this
Marissa Fernandez-Tierney will check into the game for the Pacers, also sporting a new number this year, number 34. Now we see a lot of new faces for the Pacers and some other faces that aren't on the team anymore. And the two biggest names that are not on this team anymore, Gab Giordano went with Coach Machado to Wilkes, as did Carolee Pierce, as I found out. She also transferred to Wilkes and is playing on that team. So we'll see them both on Friday. And Erica Bistrin is also not playing this year. She wanted to focus on school, and I don't blame her. It is very tough. She's in a very difficult major. So it's a lot of work. And basketball at the Division III level, you're supposed to have some fun. And it looks like she had fun last year and enjoyed it while it lasted. Maybe we'll see her again next year, maybe not, but we wish her all the best.
Oh, absolutely, and she excelled, Rookie of the Year and everything. She was a great athlete, great player for the Pacers. We wish her the best, obviously, but obviously confident. Next woman up here on the team.
Olsen, shot for three, that's going to be long. Rebound pulled out by Pisani. Parsons picks it up to Powers. Powers with it now on the other side, gives it off to Pisani. Into the corner, that's Parsons. Driving on Hessling, pass tipped by Olsen, but it gets to the intended target, Parsons. But the shot is no good, and that's a shot clock violation.
Now, what I said before, you do still kind of feel like they're searching for a three, or at least a deep jumper, kind of. Even when it seems like they have an opportunity to go up with the shot, they just kind of continuously kick it out. So this game might be won or lost at the three-point line tonight, because that seems like that's what they're happy to do, the Diplomats. Meanwhile, the
Olsen's
Pacers
gonna drive. Sorry, I cut you off there. Go ahead.
Oh, no, meanwhile, the Pacers looks like they're trying to slow things down, go through their sets a little more than they were in the first half.
Nice up and under there by Parsons. It is 35-31 in favor of the Diplomats. 5 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the third. So as we did mention, as you mentioned, I did sit down with Coach Holko yesterday, and I'll tell you what, it is a totally different style, I guess you can call it, from Coach Machado. What she told me is her biggest thing is she loves to shoot the three. She was a very good player at Westminster, by the way, and I can pull that up right here. Some of her highlights at Westminster. She played there from 2010 to 2014. She was the captain for the 2013-2014 season. She finished her senior year as an all-conference second-team guard. She finished second in program history in career three-pointers. That's something to be said, because she did say she loved shooting the three ball.
Yep. Well,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I think the three-point, revolution, you see it from the NBA on down now. This is the way a lot of coaches are coaching now, and the analytics, I guess, point in that direction, because that seems to, in this analytics age of all sports now, kind of, it seems like, that idea of the three-pointer is a popular one amongst a lot of great coaches and great teams. We know, most notably, the Warriors have made the three ball work pretty well for them. But yeah, no, I think pace is important in today's game, and I think, the idea of spacing out the floor is a thing that's becoming more popular too. And when you're on transition, you create fast break opportunities. When you're pressing, when you do stuff like that, the three kind of opens up for you. You have more space, more opportunity.
She also holds another record there. She holds the record for most single-game three-pointers with 6 back on December 10th, 2011 against Washington and Jefferson. But we're set to go again. And we got 4.5 minutes left, 35-31 in favor of the Diplomats. By the way, the Diplomats are in blue. They're moving right to left on your screen. The Pacers sporting their new jerseys. They actually look pretty cool, I might say, moving left to right on your screen. Shot for three comes up short. Hesselin corrals it. Into the game for the Pacers is Kylie Wires, a 5'5" freshman, number 3, making her collegiate debut. Kate Riley also back in, the 5'8" sophomore, number 14, as Fernandez-Tierney tried to get the N1 to go. She missed it, but she will have 2 shots at the line.
You know, Marissa Fernandez-Tierney is an important player for this team. Even in the first half, you can see she's kind of just a spark plug for them. She energizes them. She is a slasher. She likes to take the ball to the basket. We know about her tenacious defense from last season. And she kind of galvanizes the team a little bit. You know, when she comes off the bench, she brings a certain level of energy with her. Even over here on the sideline during the game, she doesn't stop. So she's very valuable for this team going forward.
She goes 2 of 2 from the line and will take a seat in favor of Alyssa Olsen. But just to kind of point out a little bit how much the Pacers will miss the production of Bistrin and Giordano. The two combined for 27 points. The two combined for 27 points a game. That right there is probably little under half your scoring for the game. That could be huge if somebody can't step up. But this Pacers team is full of good role players, and a lot of times you can see a team full of good role players be successful, and you saw that in looking back a little bit, back in baseball, the Billy Bean Oakland A's. They were not the best team, but they were good because they had a bunch of good role players who knew how to excel in their roles. And so far, we can see that from the Pacers, only down by 2, hanging in there against a solid Franklin and Marshall team. And as I say that, now it's tied, 35 all,
and
2:51 to play.
Angst has been a bright spot for the Pacers tonight too. She's finding ways to score, both from the mid-range and close. She hit a 3. So she's scoring from everywhere on the floor tonight for the Pacers, in addition to 2 rebounds and 3 assists. She's in double figures.
11 points. She is definitely one player that's going to have to step up this year. She played well in her time last year. She put up, 8.5 points a game. That shot to beat the stat clock, no good. They get the offensive board, and the Pacers get it back. But she averaged 8.5 points last year. Did pretty well on the glass as well. Averaging a touch under 4 rebounds a game. But her energy and competitiveness is a big part, is going to be a big factor for this Pacers team this year. That shot is blocked. That was Allison Narachi on that block.
Bunch
but
of blocks.
Apparently hit off of Angst.
Bunch of blocks for the Diplomats tonight. They've been doing a good job protecting the paint. But you got to like the aggressiveness there from Angst. I mean, in a game like in which neither team seems to be able to really get anything consistently going.
Kylie, you have 10. Kylie,
well, you like to see that aggressiveness.
You do. You absolutely do. And one thing that's really going to hurt the Pacers this year is the lack of size. And I'm just looking at this Diplomats roster. I see 5'10", 5'9", 6 foot, 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1". And then on the other side of the Pacers, only one player at 5'10" or taller, and that's Peyton Kovac.
Well, I think that the system they're playing in right now, though, is advantageous for that kind of a situation, because when you do have that run and gun kind of mentality, it favors, well, anyway, it helps a team that maybe doesn't have all the height of another opponent, because like I said, we're spreading the floor, you're in transition, you're catching them kind of on an uneven break, you're not necessarily you're not necessarily grinding it out with them, which is where when you really get into your sets, that's where a taller team could take some advantage there.
You're getting tossed.
Alyssa Olsen is guilty of the foul.
You were taking number 23. She's not the shooter. She's the big guy right there. The one that's
First one's no good. And speaking of Peyton Kovac, there she is checking into the game. Native of Jim Thorpe, attended Jim Thorpe Area High School. Working at Blue Ridge 13. We did, I think it was 3 or 4 Jim Thorpe football games this year. So I've gotten to see that school a lot. It's really nice. Nice field as well. Football team's pretty good. They ended up being 9-1 this year. And an errant pass there.
Some miscommunication. Just some miscommunication there, I think. Did a good job getting back on defense, though, there.
We're under 40 seconds left in the third. Pass inside, and Kovac's going to pick up a foul.
Yeah, they had some positioning there, and she got positioned down there on the block. That was Allison Narachi down there on the block. She got some positioning, and as a result, foul to prevent the easy layup.
We're under 30 seconds now. Shot clock and game clock separated by about 3.5 seconds. Shot for 3 is no good.
And that's the shot that has been working for them tonight, so it's a good sign for the Pacers. That one doesn't go in.
That was Cara Romaniello on the defense on that shot there. She is a 5'9" sophomore, number 15, was also part of that women's soccer Atlantic East Championship team.
The Pacers are off to a good start this year across the board, cross country, women's soccer, having some early success in their new conference.
And Olsen can't get it in time as they turn it over after the 5-second call. Still 35 all. 10 seconds left in the third. Hassani's going to drive and be fouled. And the Pacers are in the bonus, so they will go to the line for 2. Hassani already has 7 points. Looking to make it 8 or even 9 here at the line as that first one comes off. I tell you what, the new look stats for this year are really cool. I really like them, and Olsen's trapped right now and isn't going to get the shot off.
Yeah, the trap worked just about to perfection there for the Diplomats. Olsen had nowhere to go with the ball. Not a lot of time left. Recipe for disaster there, but
nothing you can do there. But
no,
I tell
nothing
you what,
you could do.
The new live stats are really cool. They have a couple of new ones. They got the player efficiency rating, which, if we could put that in terms of Marywood, we see Natasha Hessling is at 16. I believe it's on a scale of 1 to 20, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, they have usage percentage, points per minute on the court, and then everything else is pretty much the same, but it's a new setup, and it's really pretty cool. They have a split box of everything. That's also pretty cool. But a lot of changes for the Pacers this year, especially the fact that we're in a new conference. We have a new regime taking over at head coach. You got to talk to Alyssa Olsen and Natasha Hessling on Beyond the Arch.
Yes, it did.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yes, they were very nice interview. We were very thankful to have them on the show. Like I said, I think they're the leaders of this team. I mean, I think it's fair to say they are the leaders of this team. I think anybody would agree with that. I think Coach Holko had similar sentiments when she talked to you. I think they just kind of talked about, I think this whole team is just about embracing the challenge, of a new conference and it's embracing the opportunity too, like I said before. I mean, if I could real briefly just look at where we're standing here, 30% for the Diplomats from the field. So that hasn't really gotten better. Marywood pretty static, 44% also. The threes are the difference right now. 7 threes for the Diplomats, the 2 for the Pacers. That's why the score line's even, despite the Diplomats shooting almost 15 points worse.
That is probably going to be something that we're going to see most of the year be a problem for the Pacers, because you lost your 2 best three-point shooters in Giordano and Bistrin. Bistrin set a team record for three-pointers in a season. I believe the number was 76. And that's a lot of efficiency. That's a lot of points.
Well, you will need to search for someone who is going to take that sort of spot-up shooter role, even though Bistrin was more than that. You knew that she was always good for sort of a corner 3 setup kind of. But when we're talking about the Pacers in this game, they've only shot 5 threes. So they've made 2. They've only shot 5. They haven't really been emphasizing that area. No, absolutely not. They haven't been 40%, very respectable, but they haven't been putting up the threes. Rebound battle, they are winning by 7 right now. They're up 10 on the defensive glass. I mean, the other areas here where there's difference of the turnovers, the Pacers have 15 to Diplomats 6. You got to take care of the ball. But everything else is, points to paint's even. The turnovers and points off turnovers favors the Diplomats. But the shooting percentage and stuff like that is favoring the Pacers, and the rebound battle is in favor of the Pacers. It's been a back-and-forth game, even though 75% of the game has been led by the Diplomats. A lot of it's been in a tie. Some of it's been in a tie as well, but
another big problem right there. That's another turnover. Ill-advised because they don't get a shot off to beat the shot clock. You got to shoot within 30 seconds. And that'll happen sometimes. It's those mental mistakes. You just got to limit those.
Early in the season, I think you'll see some of that stuff. You got to see. That's the one thing, though, that, like I was talking about this before this quarter. I was just about to say it too. The three-pointer. I've said it, but it might be the difference in this quarter determining the game. This team, they are keen to shoot the 3. They've put up 21 threes here, so you got to do what you can to take that away. It seems like they search for it every possession.
Riley's going to draw a foul and go to the line.
And I should mention Franklin and Marshall shooting 43% from 3, and that's on a lot more volume, 21 shots. So that is a very respectable number for them.
Actually, I'm mistaken. That ball was on the floor, so they don't have her shoot free throws, so they get it into Araya Augst. She drives hard, steps back. That shot's going to be tipped and into the hands of Sarah Pisani.
And that's where the length comes into play that you talked about before.
I would have a travel here by Kenna Williams.
Well, with how tight this game has been, the second quarter, we saw some bigger numbers, 22-18 advantage for Franklin and Marshall in that quarter, but we had 7-7 in the first 10-6. The last one, you probably want to get this lead, or this deficit rather, closer than 6, knowing how tight this game has been. You want to probably keep it within a possession because scoring has been at a minimum.
And just looking at the box score here, you have Araya Augst with 11, and then the next most points for the Pacers is 5. A nice little hop over the bench there by Sharosa Parsons. But 11 points for Augst, 5 for Olsen and Hessling, and that's pretty much it. Not a lot of scoring for the Pacers, and it shows as they're down 41-35, but they've still got plenty of time to make something happen. 5 seconds to shoot. Olsen going to take a long 3, and that comes off. Theobald gets the rebound. Her shot's going to be blocked. And we're going to have a foul on the floor. It's going to be on Williams.
It does feel a little bit like they are waiting too long to find their shot. Marywood on their possessions. It seems like they're up against the shot clock a lot, and that leads to sort of some chaos, some chaotic play. They're looking for that shot. Credit to Franklin and Marshall. They're not giving them any ground there.
The up and under is good by Natasha Hessling.
And that was very nice right there, right off an inbound. Hessling gets position down low. She goes up for the easy layup. Pacers are back within 4, just like that.
It's going to be 30-second timeout taken by Franklin and Marshall. 4-point game in favor of the road team, the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats.
I'll tell you,
That was third quarter. It was a little late, sorry.
we may have to do it though. Natasha Hessling, 7 points, 11 rebounds. We may have to put in a double-double watch.
That is a good point. I mean, 7 points, 9 boards,
11 now.
11 boards. I'm still getting used to this new stat
That's
thing.
safe.
I saw 9 defensive rebounds.
Yeah, no, but
I'm
7
used
and
to
11.
Yeah,
for
that's true.
Hessling, so
She is in our double-double watch.
first game, first double-double watch. You can't beat it.
She's going to be in it quite a bit. She's going to be looking for defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds as well, and getting her fair share of points. She is going to have to kind of step up and be a leader and score if the Pacers want to be successful this year.
Go, Ryan, go, Ryan! Yes! Oh, that's late!
It's a late foul call on Rolone.
Stay two!
Pacers thought they had a steal there.
Shooter, see their shooter!
Coach didn't love the decision there. I mean, you never like a late foul call.
Stolen away by Augst. Did a great job intercepting that pass. And Rolone will be fouled.
Very
So the
nice there
Pacers
by
will keep
Onyx,
it.
though, to get right in the passing lane, lead the fast break.
She looked a little bit like Richard Sherman out there when he was in his prime.
Intercepting everywhere, yeah. No, but that was a very nice job there by the Pacers. Big possession here. Get back within 1 possession with the bucket.
Onyx is going to shoot it. It's going to be just short. So the Pacers will get nothing. Up to the top of the key, that shot comes off. Rolone will get the rebound. Had a 2-on-1 briefly. Onyx will shoot the 3 in the corner, no good. 12th rebound for Hessling. She's not going to get that to go. And Franklin and Marshall will go the other way. Onyx with a good defensive play to stop that one from going in. But the Diplomats will reset after getting the offensive board.
Good looks for both teams there on that quick back and forth. I mean, good looks inside, too, just weren't finishing. And
Nice
just
up
as
and
I say
under
it,
there.
nice finish inside by Franklin and Marshall. Back to 6 goes the lead.
So 43-37, 6-point game. 6 points in basketball. 4 points in basketball now, as it is 43-39. 4 points in basketball is peanuts. That
Absolutely.
means nothing. A 4-point deficit can be overcome realistically with 1 play.
Nice aggressive move there by Theobald on that move.
Blocked that pass there. Not sure who it was. Couldn't really see who it was, but that was a nice play defensively as the Pacers will bring it back up the court.
Big possession again. Get back within 1 possession.
They got a chance to go 2 for 1 here. Hessling is kind of stuck. She'll be fouled. Wires and Fernandez Tierney will check back in. It's going to be kicked by a Diplomats defender. So they'll try again. They do get it in. Wire's going to drive, be stripped, but she's fouled. And she will go shoot 2 free throws.
I like the aggressiveness, I do. I like the idea of dribble drive here. It's paying dividends for them, whether it be getting open looks at the hoop, getting fouled, and also that's going to open up the 3-point game for them as well, the drive and kick.
And see, honestly, this is why 4 points is peanuts. The Diplomats are in the bonus. The Pacers are in the bonus. So anytime the Pacers are fouled, they're going to be shooting free throws.
And that's more reason to be aggressive, because you know that when you go inside, even if it's a non-shooting foul, you're going to the line.
Exactly, just drive and get fouled. And she goes 1 of 2, but Theobald fights for the rebound. And they're going to give it to Franklin and Marshall.
I will tell you, that did, I don't know about that one. I don't have the best angle, I guess, but it looked as though it went off. I don't know. There was some reaction to it. It may have went off the leg of Franklin and Marshall, but I'm not going to speculate too much.
Now match, now match, now match.
That's Jennifer Falconiero with the ball.
Good job, Kai.
Powers kicks it over to Parsons. Back up to the top for 3.
That's the name of the game for the Diplomats tonight. That's their bread and butter right there. That top of the key 3-point shot, that's what they look for. And they keep finding ways to get it for themselves.
We did say Haley Pylon can shoot the basketball. She's second in program history in 3-pointers made. And it shows right there. Drive and kick. Tipped by Fernandez-Tierney, get her in the air, into the corner. And they're going to get the friendly roll. Marachi gets it to go, and it's an 8-point game just like that.
4.5 minutes left, 8 points. You got to make some inroads here if you're the Pacers, as the trend is going away from you at the moment.
Hesson gets it inside. Fernandez-Tierney goes up, and Fernandez-Tierney goes in.
Nice finish there by Fernandez-Tierney. Little runner. Not an easy shot to make.
Pass through the hands of Falconiero. And they're going to have a hip check foul called on Kylie Wires. Parents in the crowd don't like it.
Well, it's not really a foul you wanted there because you had them in a pretty good spot on defense. You don't want to give them kind of a reset here. Might have been a little ticky-tack, but
Right. Don't let her see anything. Up on.
They're going to get it inside to Pylon. And that shot is going to be good, and it's an 8-point game once again.
Fortunately for the Pacers, it looks like the Diplomats are finding a little more footing on offense now here.
The up and under by Olsen's not going to go. And at this point, the Diplomats can slow it down.
And you got to have a stop here for the Pacers, obviously. It goes without saying.
And it's going to be an illegal screen. But since that is an offensive foul,
It was definitely a
that
hard
is not
pick.
free throws.
It was definitely a hard pick. I guess maybe they called the forearm there.
Now hopefully tomorrow we'll have all of our technical difficulties taken care of, as that three-pointer is good by Kylie Wires. And we'll be giving you the men's home opener when they take on Penn State Lehigh Valley tomorrow night at 7 o'clock right here on TV-Marywood. Coverage will begin at about 6:45 right here on TVM.
Remember they played Penn State Lehigh Valley last year, the men did. Came away with a win in that game. Was also the home opener last year, if my memory serves me correctly. So they'll be looking to repeat that. Back to this game, though, Wires with a nice three-pointer there, and it seems as though they're leaving her a little bit at the three-point line. So that is something that if she gets into rhythm, they can look to exploit a little more, too. Still only 8 three-pointers put up for the game for the Pacers in comparison to 23 for the Diplomats. And the field goal percentages have about evened out as well. Diplomats brought themselves up to 36.5, Pacers at an even 40. And
Only a 5-point game.
only 5-point game, and the difference is the three-pointers. Like we said before, that's
Another difference that I'm seeing here, and this is probably a result of all the turnovers. 7 less shots for the Pacers in this entire game.
well, yeah, that's a result of of the turnovers. You've given them extra possessions.
That shot's gonna be no good. Pylon gets it to throw up again, no good. Theobald with the rebound.
Huge possession for the Pacers here. I've said it a few times already, but
That's huge coming out of the timeout, especially with 2:23 remaining, down by 5. 50-45 is your score. Pass into Theobald, and she's going to be fouled. So 2 shots coming up at the free throw line for Theobald. That foul will be on Lindsay Powers.
be Theobald's first free throws of the evening.
Now, for those of you that don't know, Marywood's athletic director, Dr. Mary Jo Gunning, will be retiring at the end of the season. And as that first free throw is good, and I would just love to thank her for everything she's done for not only us here as a media organization, but as an athlete as well. She has been so amazing with taking care of anything we needed for me, whether it was in terms of baseball or even this year now that I'm playing golf as well. She's always taking care of that. She's always sees the players, the student athletes. She always keeps them in mind. She's always making sure that she can do what's best for us as an athlete and for the girls that are on the court at the moment and for the men's team you'll see tomorrow and for every other student athlete here at Marywood. And she will be dearly missed when she calls it a career in June.
Yeah, certainly a long and distinguished career for Dr. Gunning. I'm sure there will be more to come, more coverage involving her retirement.
I'm sure maybe one of these days we'll get her, maybe at halftime we'll sit down with her and have a little conversation about the entire ride that she's had here over 25 years at the school. And we'll be looking forward to a new athletic director next year.
Meanwhile, this game is reaching crunch time here. 5-point lead for the Diplomats.
Up on it, Kai, up on it, Kai.
A minute 33 remaining. 5-point game. It's almost time for the Pacers to start thinking about fouling. Not that time as Hessling pulls down the rebound.
Yeah, I think that's the right strategy. You got to play hard defense, and now you need a bucket. Bucket, again, brings to a one-possession game. It's what you want.
Yeah, honestly, under a minute is about where you want to start.
Well, one guy put up the foul sign there. One guy's calling a walk. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what they say. And it's going to be a foul. It's going to be on Narachi. And Theobald will shoot 2. She was 2 of 2 last time.
And the Pacers could use another one of those trips right now.
And that first one is off the iron.
A little bit too much on that one. The ball to look to split now here.
Way to recover on that one and get that second free throw to go, but the Pacers are going to take a timeout.
Well, again, same strategy for the Pacers. They got to get a stop and a bucket. They'll have time to do that, as if they get the stop, come down and quick get the 2 points. They could then stop again and come back and tie. So that's what they'll look to do.
So while we have a second, let's talk a little beyond the arch. Who do you got on the show tonight?
Tonight we will have we're featuring the cross country team, the championship performance they just had. We like to honor our athletes here, especially when they do well. We like to feature them. So yeah, that you can look forward to that this week. And then we only really have one more episode of the finale after that. So we're winding down. Thanks for the shout out. But yeah, cross country this week. So definitely look for that.
Well, you are the host and executive producer of Beyond the Arch, so I thought I might give you a little shameless plug right there.
Hands off, Kylie, hands off, Kylie.
And we are under a minute to play.
Still a long time, Kylie.
4-point game. Pacers need a stop. And they get it. .43 seconds. Hessling Gets a screen from Theobald. Into the corner. Ongst is going to drive. Shot blocked. And a foul will be called on the floor. Let's see who's going to be shooting, and I think it's going to be Theobald.
Huge board there, keeping in the game here.
Huge offensive possession for the Pacers. It would be even bigger if Theobald can go 2 for 2 at the line.
31.6 left on the clock with a 30-second shot clock.
First one's good. 3-point game. Now, with the 30-second shot clock, you are technically guaranteed to get the ball back, you'd think. And it's going to go out of bounds and stay with the Pacers. How about that? Great hustle there from Hessling to force the Diplomats into making a big mistake.
Great hustle on the boards here, keeping them alive here right now, and they got it just as good a chance as anyone now. Will they look for the three? Will they look for the bucket and the foul? Just a good shot, perhaps.
Inside, that's Theobald. Up and under is good. 1-point game, 1 minute to 24 seconds to play. Shot clock is off. Look at this, 1-point game. My heart is racing.
We have an exciting contest, Brendan, first night. What more can we ask for here? So, I mean, they got the nice look there. Theobald has been coming up big in these last couple minutes for them with the board, scoring.
Up to 10 points already.
Well, and that was a very clutch shot right there. Obviously, she's been 4 or 5 from the line. That's very good also. So now, you know what it is now. You're going to foul, as you have to. I mean, I imagine they'll try to trap first to look for a steal, but then as soon as that's broken, they'll go to the foul. And then even with 2 made free throws, you'll still have a 1-possession game on your hands, so you can look for that.
Tie it with a 3.
You can look for that 3, or you could go for the, depending on how much time you have left, you can go for the quick bucket if it's a great look, and then the foul again. So they have options, the Pacers. There's definitely a way to win this game. There's a path to a win here for them for sure.
Well, Coach Hoko did say she likes the press. Now, granted, the Diplomats are going to advance the ball into their side of the court. But if I'm the Pacers, I'm going to put on a trap here to try to, once the ball gets in bounds, put on a trap and try to force a turnover. Give that a couple of seconds, and if that doesn't work, then you got to foul.
Absolutely. You got to look for the steal first, like I said, and then if not, you go to the immediate foul. You want to leave as much time on the clock as possible for yourself.
Hey, listen.
They're going to put all 5 Pacers on the Diplomats. They leave Pylone wide open. Coach Hochul calling for the foul, and Araya Ongst finally does foul her.
Well, the unique formation there, they came out in Franklin and Marshall and it left.
Hey,
A wide open Diplomat.
It's not free throws yet. The Pacers are not in the bonus yet. Pylone again with it. She'll be fouled with 14 and a half to play.
That is what Coach didn't want.
Pylone, a solid free throw shooter, 77% last season, as she'll have 2 to make it a 3-point game. First one is good.
Coach was imploring her players to deny Pylone the ball there, but you got a foul, like we said. There's no option.
And she goes 2 of 2. And Coach Hallcall will take a timeout.
Timeout to advance the ball. Full timeout. I understand the full timeout at this point in the game. You want to talk things over as this is the game. We understand now why Coach didn't want Pylone to have the ball at the free throw line, as those are both just about as perfect as they come from the line. But like we said, 3-point game here. Definitely in reach. Will they look for the 3? Will they look for the quick bucket and the foul?
I think you have to.
Well, there's not a ton of time left. That's the thing. So I think unless you have a absolutely great look.
If you're wide open underneath, I think you have to take
right.
it. Because then the clock stops as soon as the ball goes out of bounds. As soon as that shot goes in, the clock stops. So they can try to get a steal. And if they don't get a steal, just get a foul. And somebody needs to face guard Pylone. Do not let her get the ball. You got to double team her Whatever you got to do. She can't be the one to go to the line again. So the Pacers come out of the timeout, down by 3, 14.4 to play. 54-51 the score.
Pacers 3 of 8 from 3 tonight, just to give you an idea of how they're shooting. Like we said, small sample size, but 40% nonetheless. Kylie Wires is 2 of 2 for the game, so they probably will look to get the ball to her. Oh, it's the ref's fault.
And the referee is going to...
That is a tough break for the Pacers, because now the Diplomats get a look at what they were doing.
They're not going to put any time back on the clock. They get it back into Onk. She's got about 10 seconds to get a shot up.
Wires
it looks
coming
like
around
the Pacers
on the far
are going to
side.
go for the tie.
Wires is open, near side here. She is open.
Onks.
Nowhere to go with the ball. Got to put a shot up.
Tie is not going to go.
And
But wait, I think we're going to have... Nope. That's going to be it.
Now that's an unfortunate break for the Pacers there, because, I mean, you basically showed them what you were doing there. That's what you did. They got to look at what you were doing. It looked as though they did have Wires open at the top of the key there, but Angst was in a tough spot.
I think she was triple teamed. Like, there's really nothing you can do about that. At that point, she's covered everywhere. 54-51 is the final. The Pacers looked good, showed some flashes. Emily Theobald had a great game in her debut, 4 or 5 from the line. But ultimately, the Pacers do succumb to the Diplomats, 54-51.
Be interesting. I'm sure coach is enthralled about that last-minute snafu by the referee. We don't know how much blame she places on that. I'm not trying to put words in her mouth by any stretch of the imagination. But, I do think, from my personal opinion, it was a deal. I mean, how much of a deal it was we could argue about, but it was something. It wasn't nothing. It was something. But overall, both teams got off to a slow start tonight. I think it was just, you're kind of somewhat of a typical opening night game. You had to get through, you have to put more shots up. You have to get in the groove a little bit better. We look at the final stats for the game. I mean, we'll see here. 38 rebounds to 30 for the Pacers, so 8 rebound advantage there for them. Better field goal percentage, 40-35. The big difference in the game, though, I keep saying it, but it was the 3. 7 more threes in the game for the Diplomats. They shot 44% for the game on 23 shots, so very respectable there. They led 81.1% of this game. There were some ties, but the Diplomats were the boss team for a majority of this game. The Pacers definitely made it interesting there in the end. Gave us something to cheer for, something to root for. And with that, you move on. And, you move on to the next game, and that's all you can do.
Exactly. You move on. You got Wilkes on Friday in the Cross County Challenge, and actually comes right here to the Insulaco Arena. We will be bringing you that entire Cross County Challenge as it comes here to the Insulaco Arena. So all 4 games, we have Marywood plays in 2 of them. They play Kings and Wilkes. Wilkes on Friday, Kings on Saturday. The University of Scranton will also be here. They will play Kings on Friday and Wilkes on Saturday. So we will have all those games for you, including also tomorrow night, the men's home opener when they take on Penn State Lehigh Valley. Well, that's going to do it here from the Insulaco Arena. For my partner, Nicolo Manzo, and our entire TVM crew, I'm Brendan Murphy saying goodnight from the Insulaco Arena. And once again, your final score, Franklin and Marshall gets it done, 54-51.